Hi, John Maxwell here. On July 4th, my father passed away. And what I'm going to do is share with you a tribute to my dad. And it's the lessons that he taught me. He lived for 98 years and 8 months. Dad taught me to prioritize my life. He basically taught me, first things first. Now, if you've heard me do much teaching, you hear me talk a lot about Pareto principle and the 20-80 principle, which basically Pareto said if you have 10 things to do and you put them in order, number 1 is truly more important than number 2, in descending order down to number 10. Pareto says if you just do the top 2 things, you'll get an 80% return of everything you need in life. And that was a life-changing principle, but it was built on the fact that my father also believed that and lived that. I think the difference between Dad and Pareto was the fact that if you go to the bottom 20% on your list of 10 things, my dad would have said, don't even touch it. Don't even worry about it. The return is too insignificant for you to give it any time. Another thing that my father taught me in priorities that was just absolutely huge was to look at my day, and he was the first one that helped me understand that I can't be 100% all day. In other words, we're human. We get tired. We need to take breaks. We mentally get fatigued. And so he said, John, you can't get up in the morning and go till night and be always on. You can't be 100%. You got to have a few times where you say, wow, I just need to catch my breath. So he said, you don't have to be 100% on all day, but you do have to be 100% on in the things that are important. Now, this is right back to priorities. So look at your list. You maybe have, 7 things to do today, 7 definite things that you need to accomplish. Now, if you've got 7 definite things that you need to accomplish, what you know and I know is they don't all hold equal weight. Pareto, again, would say, what are your top 20% of those 7 things? I don't know, what are maybe 2 of those things that you really need to make sure. Now, my father would say, John, pick out your times that you're going to be 100%. And he said, nothing is worse than needing to be 100% because the meeting is crucial or the conversation or whatever your event is, and you not being there. So he said, don't have to be 100% all day, but you do have to be 100% at the things which are really, really important in your life. That was life-changing to me. Life-changing. Because as I look at every day now, I ask myself, where are my 100% times? Where do I have to be all in? And I pick them. And then I make sure that I can hit the ball at that time. And then maybe I don't have to be 100% when I'm having lunch. I don't have to be all in then. So then you get your breaks. But know that's all about prioritizing. That's all about energy. That's all about excellence. As you know, if you hear me teach, I talk about the 3 R's, what's required of you, what gives you the greatest return, and what gives you the greatest reward. Kind of want to line those up. When what is required of you is also the thing that gives you the greatest return, which is also the thing that gives you the greatest reward, you are in your sweet, sweet spot about priorities. Since I'm talking about Dad, when I grew up, there was a little plaque on the wall that I just saw and read hundreds of times growing up. It was just always on the wall. And the plaque was just very simple. It said, only one life, it'll soon be past. And only what's done for God will last. Now, my father never sat me down and said, let's read this plaque together. Let me explain it to you. He just had it on the wall. And every day as a kid, I visually would look at that, had it obviously memorized, knew exactly what it said. But what I didn't realize is that every time I would look at it, every time I would again be reminded that there's only one life, it's going to be past, and only what you and I do eternally for God, faith, really is going to last. It was one of the great eternal principles that as a kid I grew up with. And here's what I know. Those words are more meaningful today than they were when I was a child, and they are more true than they were as a child to me. My father, by example, by plaques, by his words, just taught me how to prioritize my life, because he knew and I know, and I want you to know, activity is not necessarily accomplishment. Your goal isn't to be busy. Your goal is to be effective. And that's based on your and my ability to prioritize those things in our life. So that was a lesson that Dad taught me, and it was, oh my gosh, it was such a good lesson.